Hi guys, today I'm going to make an apple pie, and I'm starting off with 1/2 a cup, which is 1 stick of butter, and I'm going to let this butter melt. I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees. There goes that butter. I'll bring it back when it melts. My butter's about melted. As you can see, I've got the heat on a little too high. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour into this butter and stir it around for a minute or so. Get it all dissolved. Get the flour taste out of it. That looks good. Let me smell it. Alright. I'm going to let it go a minute or two. Like this. I've got the heat cut way down, but you know, the stove cooks. It's still just cooking away here. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to add 1/2 a cup of white sugar, 1/2 a cup of packed brown sugar, and 1/4 cup of water. Get that stirred in. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. And when it starts to boil, I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for 5 minutes and then remove it from the heat. So I'll bring you back at that point. This is a pre-made pie crust because I had them in my freezer and I didn't want them to go bad. So I'm using that on the bottom, and I made one for the top. So here is the stuff that the brown sugar and butter and all of that. And I let it boil and then let it simmer for 5 minutes, and then I took it off the heat. Now I'm going to pour it all over this pie. Now this original pie didn't call for cinnamon or nutmeg. I don't like nutmeg, so that didn't bother me. But I do like cinnamon in my apple pie. So I sprinkled some cinnamon on my apples. So I'm just pouring this on here. It said to lightly mound, and it said to use 6 apples. Well, I bought 4 huge apples. Am I right? Or did I buy 6? Anyway, they were so big, I said, I'm not going to do all of them. So I actually had to take part of the apples out of this pie because it was just too much. This stuff is supposed to seep down in between all these apples. And maybe it will when it cooks, so we'll see. Alright, now I'm not going to let you struggle. Watch me struggle to get this top pie crust on, so I'll be back when I get it on and put it in the oven. Here's my pie, guys. I've got the top crust on. It's ready to go in the oven. Putting it in at 425 degrees for 15 minutes, and then changing it to 350 for 25 to 35 minutes, and I'll be back then. Well, my pie is out of the oven. It took almost 2 hours for it to cool, enough for me to cut it. And I actually tore up some of the pie crust trying to lift it. But let's give it a whirl here and see what it tastes like. And my idea of using the made crust, you know, and I put my own crust on top of it, and I tried to crimp it around the sides to get the two to be together. So hopefully, it's still pretty warm, but we're going to try it anyway. I don't have any ice cream or anything to put on this pie. There we go. Look at that beautiful pie. Can you see it? Let me zoom in. I'll put it on a plate over here and give it a taste just for you guys. This pie is so easy to make. And if you make it, excuse me, the apples have to be cut very thin. I've got one of those little apple machines, you know, that peels it and cores it and slices it. And so that made it a lot easier for me. So let's give it a taste here. Mmm. Mmm. This is so good. You have got to try this pie. It was so easy. The only thing I'm going to tell you is when you've got your butter and sugars and flour and all that in your pot, and you let it come to a boil, and then you turn it way down and let it just simmer for 5 minutes. Don't let it simmer any longer than that, because the filling will get thick and it'll be too thick for the pie. But give this a try. I know you'll like it. It's very good. Very, very good. Mine cooked, I told you, 25 to 35 minutes. It's 35 to 45 minutes at 350. And I baked mine for 40. So thank you for coming in again and spending part of your day with me. Give me a thumbs up if you like the recipe. It's simple. And please subscribe if you haven't. So until next time, you take care.